now we're moving on to step 2, which is to find the perfect domain name. So this is the fun part. This is kind of creative. It's where you get to choose your blog's name. Now, there's some good news and bad news. The bad news is that a lot of the very best domain names are already taken. Now, the good news is it doesn't really matter because we're still going to find the best one for you anyway. After all, the internet has been around for a long time, so obviously a lot of the best domain names are already taken. But that doesn't mean you won't be able to find the perfect one or a really good one for your blog. So here's a few really good rules of thumb, some ideas to keep in mind when you're choosing or thinking of a good name for your blog or website. First, keep it short. You don't want to force any potential visitors to really have to type in a bunch of words to visit your website. So one idea to keep in mind is don't go more than 14 characters long for your domain name. Next, only choose a domain name that ends in .com, .org, or .net, because these are going to be the easiest ones for people to remember. Now, I would also recommend you really try to stick with .com or possibly .org. That could certainly make sense for your topic. I would really try to stay away from .net at this point. And there's some different tricks you can do to help you get a .com or .org that isn't taken, which I'll explain here in just a second. So I want to take you guys through a live example of actually coming up with a domain name. This is one of my favorite tools. It's called Lean Domain Search, and I'll put a link for it down in the description. So if you want to put in some ideas of a domain you're thinking of, you can put it in here. So let's say Lance loves gardening. I'll start with something like that. And what it will do is it will let you know if that domain name is available. And if it is, you'll see that there's no word on the beginning or end of it. So it looks like this one should be available. Now, I will show you how to double check to make sure. But let's try a more difficult one. Let's say loves gardening. So that one, wow, looks like that one actually might be available as well. Okay, so let's try garden lover. Okay. So here's an example where garden lover is it looks like it's probably taken. And the reason we know that is because they had to put a word on the beginning or the end of it. And so this is an example where they will add some words to the front or to the end to see if there's something else you might like. You might find something here, you might not. It might give you inspiration, but what's nice is over here you can change your search term filter. So you can say, I want my search term, garden lover, I want it to start with the search term. That means all the words that they come up with will go at the end of the search term. Or you can have it, your search term it ends with the search term. So now they're going to put smart garden lover, digital garden lover. That's kind of cool. Tech garden lover, green garden lover. So you can see where they start coming up with some ideas here. And then you can also do it alphabetical. So let's say you want it to start with the G word. You can scroll down till we get to the E, F, G and see a grizzly garden lover, groovy garden lover. And so it's a great tool, again, to get some ideas. So what I'm going to do is I had an idea for a domain name, Lance recommends, and it looks like it's showing me everything is taken at the moment. So let's try Lance recommendations. Oh, sorry, I have it on this alphabetical. I meant to say all. Okay, that's why it's confusing. Lance recommendations. I still like Lance recommends better. Let's see how that looks. And it looks like it should be available. Okay, so I want to show you a couple ways you can search to see if it's available as a .com or possibly a .org, but really I recommend .com if you can find it. So first, my favorite, Namecheap. This is where I actually like to get domains. And again, I'll put a link down in the description. And if there's any discount codes, sometimes there's some special offers, promotions. Again, check the link for that. Sometimes you can get a special deal when you sign up for a domain. And so I always want you guys to save as much money as possible when you're doing these kind of things. So again, I'll put that down below. Feel free to check that out. So Lance recommends, and then I'm going to type or just click search. Okay, and it looks like it's available. See, it's got the little check mark, $8.88 a year. So let me show you what it looks like. Let's try just recommends, so you can see what it looks like when it doesn't. It's not available. So it was this one, recommends.com, was registered in 2000. You can always try to make an offer, and then it shows you other results that might be available. So let me show you. Also, you can go to Bluehost here, and you can do the same thing. But I want you to notice, so you can certainly get a domain through Bluehost. Just realize there is a cost difference. It's $12.99 a year versus with Namecheap. Let me go back and show you this. Lance recommends.com. You can see it's $8.88 a year, so that's a nice savings. Oops, let me go back over here. There we go. So we'll try it. Lance recommends. And that's something I want you guys to pay attention to. You'll notice sometimes there's a promotional offer with some of these domain name, or even hosting can work that way, where you can get your domain name free the first year, but then it might be $12, $13, $14, $15 each additional year. And so it's something to keep in mind. Granted, it's just a few dollars, but I want you guys to be aware of that in case that's something that might be important to you. Now, to be fair, there can be a convenience of just having it all in one place. So certainly feel free to do that from a convenience standpoint. But for those of you who want to save the extra few dollars, I'll show you how to go ahead and do that. So if I wanted to get this domain name, I could just click proceed and go ahead and do that here through Bluehost. But I'm going to show you how to do it through Namecheap so you can save a couple bucks. And then I'm going to show you how to connect your domain to Bluehost. I'll go ahead and show you how to pick web hosting, get signed up, and do all this I'll do all this together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to cart. Okay, so let's look at all these things that it's saying frequently bought together. You don't need to get any of this. So certainly if there's something you would like, feel free, but really there's nothing here you need, because I'll be showing you where I recommend for hosting. As far as VPNs, that's a whole nother subject. I'm happy to make some recommendations, but email, same thing. That will be provided through Bluehost, same thing with SSL. That's again a nice thing about Bluehost, it provides it for free, so we don't even need to spend the $388 a year. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to click checkout. Now you noticed it says $906 instead of $888. So there's nothing tricky going on. It's this ICANN fee. It's an additional charge that Namecheap has to pass along that cost to you. It's kind of like with your phone bill, where there's additional fees and charges besides the basics. So WhoisGuard, you can always click on these little question marks if you're not sure what this has to do. This just helps keep your information private. I like to have that enabled, and it's free forever, which is nice. Now you have the option of registering for 1 year or more years if you want, if you know you're going to keep this for a while. I typically just do 1 year. If I know it's something I'm absolutely going to want to keep year after year, I will select auto renew, but you don't need to do that. You'll get a notification. Namecheap is great about that, about 60 days before your domain would expire, to let you know, hey, if you want to keep your domain, you're going to want to go ahead and remember to renew it. And so you'll get that reminder. So that's what I'm going to do, just in case I decide not to keep this one. And again, if there's any promo codes and so forth, I'll put that down in the description for you guys so you can check that. Or sometimes just clicking on the link will automatically apply the code. And then I'm going to go ahead and confirm order, and that will do it. So that will pretty much wrap up this lesson. And then for the next part, we'll go ahead and talk more about hosting, how to connect your domain with your hosting and so forth. So if you guys had any questions about this, let me know down in the description, or down in the comments. I'm always happy to answer as many questions as I can. And otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate your time. Hope you're enjoying this, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.